everyone, so I just cleaned actually this pumpkin, and I'm going to go ahead and just show you how to make a pumpkin pie with a carving pumpkin. This is a carving pumpkin I actually got from a farm close by. It's more of like it's a smaller pumpkin, and it is a carving pumpkin. You use this to carve your pumpkins on Halloween for jack-o'-lanterns and stuff like that. Well, since Halloween passed, and I actually have 3 of these pumpkins, I'm going to be going ahead and just using the pumpkin, and we're going to go ahead and make pumpkin pure. And with the pumpkin pure, you can make pumpkin pie, you can make bread, waffles, ice cream. There's like so many different recipes for it. I did go ahead and bring out my little strainer, because we are going to also use the seeds. I am not going to waste these pumpkins. I actually had to use these pumpkins for one of my child's games for their class at school. So it's not carved at all. I did wash it. I washed all the dirt off of it and stuff like that. But I did have to use them, and I didn't want to waste it. And I wanted to go ahead and make some pumpkin pure that we could have for the rest of the winter, especially since it is November now, and I could also use it for making pumpkin pies for Thanksgiving. You're going to get a pan as well, and you should have your oven. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done a video, but I wanted to go ahead and show you guys what I need to do. You could go ahead and just see that there is some more fiber, and just scrape it with your spoon, and you could go ahead and toss those. But this is actually what it should look like, and what we are going to actually be doing is we're going to be laying it flat upside down like this on our pan. We're just going to put a little oil on it. Preheat your oven to 350, and for about this kind of size of a pumpkin, you're looking at maybe 40 to 45 minutes of cooking it. Sometimes a little bit sooner, depending on how fresh it was cut off the stem. And also based on the size of the pumpkin would be how long you would have to cook it. For a smaller pumpkin, it's usually about 35 to 40 minutes. And for this size, it more likely will be for 40 minutes. And between 40 to 45 minutes, also depending on the hardness of the pumpkin also. So, yep, let's go ahead and put this on a sheet, and let's start baking. Again, I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil. You can use vegetable oil, but I'm just going to go ahead and put a little olive oil, and then just put it all around it, as you see me doing here. And yeah, we'll put on the pan and start cooking it. So we're going to go ahead, kind of coat it, and it's going to be upside down in our pan like this. Okay, so the pan, just because of the size of my pan, I'm only going to be able to do one, but this is how your pumpkin should be. You don't have to put water on it. It already has some oil on the inside, not the outside. You don't need to put foil on the top of it, but you will need to preheat your oven to 350, and we're going to go ahead and go from 350 and start cooking this for 40 to 45 minutes until it gets to like a brownish color. I will show you here once it's done cooking kind of like the color it turns. And what is next is when you get your knife, you should be able to go ahead and pierce it without any trouble with your knife, and it will, so then you'll determine it being fully cooked or not. If you have a little trouble, then it needs a little bit more cooking, and so on. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so we got the pumpkin here. It is, again, like I said, do you see the different colors on it? So as you see the different colors on it, it is hot. And like I said, if you puncture and the knife goes through with no trouble, it is finally fully cooked. There is some glazing at the bottom. And we are going to go ahead and put this on a cutting board. Okay, so I'm going to move this a little closer.
Going to try to move it.
Okay. So this is what your pumpkin should look like in the inside. So this is what your pumpkin should look like in the inside. There is some like browning here, which is totally fine. I'll go ahead and just take all the skin off. You're going to want to first, after you bring it out, as you can see the steam still going, the first thing you're going to want to do is just let it cool off until you're able to touch it. And then we're going to be taking the skin off, as you can see here. You're going to be wanting to take all the skin off, and then we're going to go ahead and puree it. If you do not have a puree machine, you could go ahead and use a blender, which is what I'm going to be doing. And we're going to chop them up and then put it in a blender, and we're going to puree this pumpkin. And then I also have that side of the pumpkin I still need to do, so I'm going to go ahead and use the same one. Like I said, I don't put water in it because pumpkins make their own liquid. As you can see, there's liquid inside. And with puree, you're going to be able to store it in your freezer, which is what I'm going to be doing, especially because I'm going to use some of it for pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving, and then I also want to make a pumpkin pie for December, for Christmas. So I have that pumpkin there, and I have this pumpkin here, or the whole pumpkin here. And yeah, so it should be in the freezer. If you store it in a freezer bag, you'll be able to puree which I'm going to do 3 pumpkins, and be able to store it in my freezer for 4 to 6 months. If you put it in a freezer bag or a freezer container, it should work. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cool off, and then I'm going to go ahead and put that half of the pumpkin, which is fully cleaned out, as you guys can see. Fully cleaned out. Don't need that one. Kind of just show you a little side by side. This is the pumpkin we already cooked, and that is the other half of the pumpkin. And again, with like the skin color. Kind of just see how it goes. So I'm going to oil this bad boy, and then go ahead and do that other side. But this is what your pumpkin's going to look like, and then you're going to be able to take the skin off. So once it's done blended in your blender or puree mixer, you go ahead and get a storage bag and or freezer bag, and then go ahead and pour that in there. This one is just going to be the pumpkin puree, and then I'm also doing the other little bit of a half to make a pumpkin pie, and so I'm going to add season to it and stuff like that, especially to like make ice cream and pumpkin pie. So that's what I'm doing with this bit here, and then I'm also having a little bit left over, and I'm going to do a ice cream and pumpkin pie and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and season the other bit, but this is what you're going to have. Just make sure all the air is out of it, and then go ahead and you could freeze it. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this pumpkin I have here that's already been chopped up inside of there, and then I have this dark brown sugar. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and add some spices to this and make my pumpkin pie and ice cream. So I also have nutmeg, and then I also have some cinnamon. You could also have an allspice as well, which is what I had. I don't know why I didn't bring it out or show it to you guys, but I will add that a little later. But I'm going to go ahead and just add all my spices and sugar into it. I'm going to also add a little bit of salt to this to even out the flavors, and then we're going to go ahead and blend it all together, and it's going to be so good for pumpkin pie, and it's going to be really good for, you can make ice cream, you could do waffle mix. There's like so much stuff you could do with this pumpkin puree, and it's so good. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt, like I said, and then I'm going to blend this up, and I already stored the rest of the other stuff in the freezer, and this will be made fresh for, again, pumpkin pie that I'll be making here on the weekend, and also for some waffles and some ice cream. So yeah, that's it, and it's a very simple recipe that you can easily do. Hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.